Welcome back to NBA Cinema. Today we got to talk about Chris Paul and the way that he found out that he was traded. He was actually on a plane flying to Good Morning America to talk to Michael Strahan and the crew up there, and that's how he found out he was traded. Now, we hear about this a lot in the league, where they'll get the update when we get the update. You know, they'll get the Woj bomb. Sometimes we'll get the Woj bomb and what Shams has to put out before they do, because they'll be busy doing something else. We saw, I think Harrison Barnes, wasn't it? Harrison Barnes got it in the layup line. He got the alert. So let's check out how Chris Paul reacted to it and how he found out.
I'm driving in this morning and we got the ticker tape thing outside of our building.
What did it say?
And I see this potential blockbuster deal between you and Bradley Beal that may take you from Phoenix to Washington and vice versa. I was surprised. What are your first thoughts on that?
I was surprised too. I found out on the plane yesterday flying here for this. You know, in this league, anything can happen, so you just figure out what's next.
You literally found out on the plane.
Absolutely.
Wow. What was your first reaction?
Don't push him any further. He's trying to be nice about it.
Yeah, he is, right?
Yeah. What's happening?
I think we always kind of knew on the back half of Chris Paul's contract that this was a strong possibility. I mean, they signed him for another 4-year deal, but I think after the second year, they gave themselves some leeway with it not all being guaranteed, you know. And I think that was smart because they were coming off of a 6-game NBA Finals appearance with Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks, but they underwhelmed the following year, and then this year, you know, they lose to Joker and those guys in the second round. Was it 4-1? So, and Chris Paul was injured. He wasn't healthy, you know, for that series. So it was time for them to move on in another direction. Even though they promised that they were going to move forward with Chris Paul earlier in this offseason, you always want to make your asset desirable. So that's why they came out and said they're going to stick with him, because you can't go into trying to trade somebody saying, oh man, he's washed up, we can't use him no more, please take him. No, you got to say, you know, we holding on to Chris Paul, and teams reach out, y'all start to talk about it, and you start to include him. Okay, and you could even play like you don't want to include him at first, because that's kind of what they did. Remember, the deal was centered around Landry Shamet, and who was the second person? Was it Ayton at first? It was somebody else at first, and they said that the Wizards would need Chris Paul included in the deal. Whoever would need CP3. So then you add them in. You know, they made that work as long as it could. Now, grabbing Bradley Beal, that's going to be a different challenge for them to get a team identity other than putting the ball in the basket. And I'm not even saying, like, it's not enough basketballs or anything. All of the stars on that team is pretty unselfish. I just think it's a challenge as far as the other end and how well those three complement each other. I think any combination of those two players complement each other. You know, whether it's Booker, Beal, KD, or Booker, and, you know, obviously Booker and KD complemented each other this year. But what I'm saying is any way you combine them, two of them is good. But you have to fill out the rest of that roster. I'm just not a big fan in putting so much money in 3 players that you have trouble constructing the rest of your roster. Because it's hard to fill out a roster, man. It's hard for 3 to beat 8 or 9 strong. You know, when Bruce Brown and those guys are coming off the bench, you tire basically starters that come off the bench. It's hard to beat that over a series. So they're going to have to work that out. It's going to be hard. Like Phoenix, I don't know if that's a destination where people are just dying to get there to play with them. So that'd be my only drawback. But CP3 probably get waived or something and picked up by one of those LA teams at this point in his career, I feel like. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.